I just finished up work for the day. It's been a pretty good day. I can't complain. It was raining all morning, which first rain of the season here in LA, and it was just so cozy. And while I was having my morning coffee today, I noticed that Twilight is back on YouTube for free. So I, of course, had to watch Twilight this morning as I was getting ready for work, and it's been a good time. I also got my pumpkin string lights today, which you must have seen in the previous clip, and I'm just really getting into all of the fall festivities, and it makes me so happy. So right now, I wanted to sit down and actually just cut all of these pictures while I talk to you about the artist's way. One of the tasks that I have to do this week is kind of create like a mood board or a collage of sorts of images that speak to me. This book was written 30 years ago, so the task is technically to get a stack of magazines and cut out pictures and words and anything that I see in those magazines that resonate with me. Things that represent who I am as a person, my dreams, my past, present, and future. It could be anything that I am drawn to. Because I don't have magazines at home and I don't even know where to get magazines from anymore, I just went on Pinterest, and the task was to spend 20 minutes max finding images. So that's what I did. I kind of set like a 20-minute timer, and like whatever was on my Pinterest explore page that spoke to me, that felt represented my life or who I am or what I desire, I just collected all of those images. And I did include 2 of my own images as well, because I felt like it was incomplete without them. So that's what we're doing. I need to cut all of these up, and then if you're not familiar, I use my Luis Carmen as a place for all of my Artist's Way tasks and for my morning pages. So I have, actually my first insert in here is the Luis Carmen dot grid insert. So I've kind of been doing like all of my Artist's Way tasks in here. So this is an example from week 5. One of the tasks was to start an image file. I think really similar to this task actually, but it's more so like, I think this one was around collecting images of your ideal life, what you want your life to look like. Okay, I looked back so I wasn't misspeaking, but it was from week 5, it was supposed to be your desires, your imaginary lives, and like adventures you'd like to go on. So I guess it's more like aspirational in nature. So these were just some images I found that kind of represented that for me. I would love to have a dog someday. I know that I always want to be close to nature, specifically redwoods or greenery of some kind, and like foggy nature. I know I want to always spend a lot of time in Japan. So this was like a traditional Japanese home that I found, and I would like my eventual home to be very inspired by the traditional Japanese aesthetic as well. Added in some like style, fashion inspo, some quotes that I felt really spoke to me. I always have this, "You are your home," whenever I'm gathering images. I have it here too. And then just a cozy, comfortable home. And yeah, I think this was another one where I spent like 10 minutes gathering the images. So yeah, I basically just used this insert for all of my Artist Way weekly tasks. Like this one was describing my ideal environment, my favorite season, which we are currently in. I like that everything is in kind of one insert, and so I wanted to create this collage in here as well, which is why these images look so small, because I was a little worried it wouldn't all fit in this A5 slim size. So we'll see. So yeah, the first insert has my weekly tasks. The second insert is a chopped down Midori grid notebook, just a plain grid. And I've been using this for my morning pages, as you can see. Not really getting along with this paper, to be honest. I was at first. Now it's just so finicky. Ugh, I'm just sad about it. And then I have my extra plain dot grid insert in here that I haven't used yet. Oh, and actually, I did want to talk about how it's going in my Luis Carmen, because it's been a couple of videos since I showed this. I still love it. I absolutely love this notebook. It's just beautiful. It always feels so incredible in my hands. This shade is just beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Mine has not patinaed pretty much at all. I mean, very, very slightly. And I'm so sad because I know it's still new. I got this in July. I don't handle it every day, but pretty often. And other than like the scratches that have formed and the little nicks and marks, hopefully you can see that, there hasn't been much patina on the leather. It still looks the same, other than the scratches, like I said. And I'm surprised by that because when I see some of my other favorite creators who have Luis Carmens, Tori on Paper and Lori Tata, love both of their videos about their Luis Carmen notebooks. And I believe both of them actually got theirs after me. So they've had it for even less time than I have, but their notebooks have patinaed so beautifully. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Like, it's really, the color has completely deepened. You can see that shine all over the leather. It's like reflective, and there's that discoloration that comes with the patina that I just think is so beautiful. And somehow both of them have managed to do that with their notebooks, but I have not. And I don't know why. I think maybe I just have naturally very dry palms. So I'm not transferring much oil to this. I have no idea, but I am now planning to religiously use hand cream every day in the hopes that this can help speed up the patina process. Might not be the most advisable thing to do here. I don't know if that's a good or bad idea, to be honest, but regardless, I could use hand cream because my hands are very dry. So I'm curious. I'm gonna start using this more consistently and see if that maybe helps speed up the patina process. I mean, not to say that I don't love how this looks as is though, because it's beautiful. I don't need it to patina. I'm okay with it aging at the speed that it wants to age, and that's fine. But I am curious, once I start using hand cream daily, how this is gonna look. And this is one that I love. I actually just picked this up at a pharmacy in Paris during my trip this summer. Anyway, I figured I would start cutting these pictures as I talk to you about how the Artist's Way has been going and what I have noticed since starting it. So this week I read chapter 7 or week 7 of the book, and I am technically very behind. Technically, I should have been done by now, but I made it up to week 6, being very consistent. I did it every week until week 6. And then I kind of just burnt out from it. And I think there's a couple different reasons for that. But yeah, it has been probably a good month since I have picked this up. So I took quite a long break from the Artist's Way. I think a big reason behind that is because I was doing it on my own. I didn't have an accountability partner. I didn't have any friends doing it with me, or, you know, I didn't join any groups or communities that were kind of doing the Artist's Way together. And I think that makes a big difference. So if you are interested in the Artist's Way and you've been curious about it, I do definitely suggest doing it with someone, like with an accountability partner, with a support system, basically with people that you can actually talk about your experiences with. Because the other part of it is a lot of the tasks the things that are asked of you in this program are quite heavy and require a lot of introspection and time with yourself, uncovering things that you may not have really thought about ever. And that's what I loved about this program, and it's why I was so interested in doing it, because for me, I wanted it to be a way into my inner child. Ever since getting diagnosed with autism, so late in life as a 30-year-old, I just felt like I didn't know who I really was behind the mask that I had to create, the person that I became just trying to survive as an undiagnosed autistic person my whole life. So I was really using this as a portal into myself, inward, and that's what drew me to this program. But yeah, if you're not aware of what the Artist's Way consists of, I think it's really easy to just assume that it's purely about creativity and fostering your inner artist and like getting back into an artistic practice or starting an artistic practice if you've always wanted to, but you never had the confidence to. It is all those things, but it is much, much more than that fundamentally. And because of that, I do feel like it's a lot. It's a lot to expect someone to do 12 consecutive weeks of that type of inner work. And I just couldn't keep up with it. It started to feel like homework after a point. It started to not really feel like something I could spend my mental energy on. And it's especially hard doing it alone, not really having people to bounce your insights and reflections off of. And I think for me, I'm someone that kind of likes to sit with my thoughts when I realize something about myself, when I have an epiphany of some kind. I like to sit with it and take some time to really digest it and reflect on it and journal about it and exist with this new knowledge about myself. So to me, I find the pacing unrealistic, honestly, for my type of processing style. So I think that's something to keep in mind. I just feel like personally in doing this, I had to really change the rules and the guidelines that I was going to follow. I went into it already telling myself, like, I'm going to go at my own pace. It's okay if I need to take breaks. I'm not going to do 12 consecutive weeks. I was very lenient with myself with the morning pages. I didn't strictly do 3 pages per day. I still found a lot of value out of them, but doing them my way. So yeah, I think if you're going to do the Artist's Way, or if you have done it, let me know if you agree with me. I think it requires flexibility, and I don't think being super rigid and following every single rule that Julia Cameron lays out is actually conducive to success. Because if I had done that, if I had gone 12 straight weeks without giving myself the time I needed to process all of the things I was realizing about myself and all of the changes that I was making in my life, then I wouldn't really have gotten much value out of it. I would have kind of just missed out, I guess, on a lot of the growth that I noticed in myself. I hope that makes sense. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I have not been following everything to a T. I've really adjusted my approach to the Artist's Way, and I've made it very personal to me because I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it. And I know myself better than anyone else does. So I know kind of what learning style works for me and what types of exercises I'm going to get the most value out of and in what format and frequency. So I don't feel bad at all about having to take a break from doing the Artist's Way for the past month, because I got to a point where I wasn't really getting anything out of it anymore because mentally I wasn't in the right place. Energy levels wise, I had no energy for the past few months. I, was having health issues. There were other things that were taking up my attention. Now, I want to also talk about what is the value that I've gotten out of doing the Artist's Way, because it's not exactly what I thought it would be. Honestly, the biggest change that I've observed in myself since doing the Artist's Way is that I feel much more generous with myself. I think that's the biggest change. I am not as stingy when it comes to what makes me happy, what brings me joy, what feels like a luxury to me. I allow myself to indulge more. I think that's the biggest change. And I know that sounds weird because you would think that the number one thing you would get out of something called the artist's way is feeling more creatively inspired, feeling more confident with your artistic abilities. Yeah, none of those things really rang true for me. The biggest difference I've noticed is that I realize the value of indulging in little luxuries and in observing what gives me a sense of wonder, observing what makes my inner child happy, what I am naturally drawn to rather than influenced to do. I hope that makes sense. A lot of the exercises are asking you questions like, describe your childhood bedroom. What was your favorite item as a child? Or what are your favorite foods? Go eat one of them this week. It's simple things like that I wasn't practicing very much in my day-to-day life before. You know, I would kind of always brush off the things, the little luxuries that I wanted to get myself, to treat myself to, but felt indulgent and kind of childish. But the way that Julia Cameron frames these things, it suddenly clicked for me that your inner artist is not just an artist in the conventional sense of someone who can draw or paint or write or whatever, but it's also the part of you that creates in general. And that part of you is where your sense of wonder, your unique voice comes from. It's really where your true self lives. And what I really got out of the tasks in this book is learning how to honor that true self, that inner creator that knows what I like naturally. I don't know if this is making sense, but perhaps I can give some examples. At the start of October, I sat down and wrote a bucket list of all of the things that I want to do this October. And they were the smallest, the most simple things that I knew would make me feel immensely happy. And I basically wrote down go to a pumpkin patch, bake something fall themed, buy yourself a new candle. It's very simple things that I put on this bucket list. And prior me before the Artist's Way, would not have even thought of doing something like that. It never would have occurred to me to even think about what are the small joys that you want to experience right now. And what are some little luxuries that we can treat ourselves to? I've always kind of been stingy about that and feeling like, why? You should have an occasion to do things. If there's no occasion, why am I spending money on it or spending my time on it? And now I realize how wrong that is. We have to enjoy our lives as it happens, every moment. Find as many pockets of joy as we can in our lives. And yeah, that's really what I have taken away from the Artist's Way so far. Creating the life that feels most comfortable and luxurious to me based on what I like and no one else. And yeah, listening to that inner voice, I suppose. And remembering the things that I have always naturally loved since childhood. I think going back to the things you were naturally drawn to as a child, that is the best indicator of what you like now, uninfluenced by anything else. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I've noticed. The other one being I've noticed an openness. It feels like my heart is open to accepting good fortune, accepting change, accepting the possibility of transformation, and just realizing that I was placing a lot of limitations on myself simply because of not really believing in what's possible. And I have noticed that kind of change over time as I've done the Artist's Way. Some other little luxuries that I've treated myself to. So I did end up getting myself a new candle for the fall. I went shopping with my mom this weekend and yeah, I got a candle. One of my bucket list items for October was to get myself a dark green hoodie And I found the perfect one this weekend as well. It's so soft and comfortable, and it's the perfect shade of dark green. And I'm so happy. And just wearing this makes me feel more myself. And that's what I mean. It's like getting yourself the things that make you feel more yourself. That's really what I was trying to say. I've understood the importance of that now. Even just getting myself those like pumpkin string lights for my desk. It's so silly, but it makes me feel like a kid again in some ways. You know, it's kind of a nice reminder to myself that we've entered a new season. I want to start living more like in tune with the seasons and signal to myself when things are changing. I don't want every single day to look the same, you know? So it's those small things. I think those lights were like $10. It's something small, but it makes such a big difference in the way I perceive my life. It's a little hard to explain how the artist's way has helped me get to that point, but if you've had any experience with it, let me know if you kind of noticed that same change in yourself. It definitely feels like a lot of the tasks and the readings bring that realization out of you and make you start realizing how important it is to really care for yourself, like really treat yourself like someone you love. Now, oddly enough, I don't feel like the artist's way has made me more creative or more free with my creativity, and that is something I was hoping to get out of this. I'm only on week 7 right now, so I recognize there's like half of the way left to go. So I don't want to speak too soon about that, but I don't know, I don't feel like any of the tasks or even the morning pages have inspired any creativity in me. You know, there's a lot of affirmations that she provides in the book as well. Things like, I am a prolific artist and it is my destiny to create, things like that. I personally have not felt like those affirmations have made any difference for me. I don't think I'm someone who buys into that, unfortunately. I wish I could, but I think I'm just too cynical of a person for affirmations to really make me feel like I'm noticing any difference. I don't know, she speaks a lot about getting past like perfectionistic tendencies. And while I can intellectually agree with everything that she's saying, why it's detrimental, why it's your ego really, and why it's stopping you from authentically creating, I get all that, I agree. At the end of the day, it doesn't stop my perfectionistic tendencies. And that is what I struggle with the most when it comes to creativity. I don't know how to do rough drafts, rough sketches. I really struggle with that. Like I need everything to look polished and like the final product. And I despise that about myself. Like I wish I could be free with creating. And I was hoping that the artist's way would help me with that. But I just have not noticed any change in myself when it comes to the way I create, the way I approach my artistic practices. So I'm not sure. And I feel like maybe it's also because a lot of the tasks on a weekly basis are more introspective in nature. You know, none of them really tell you to create a piece of art. So I feel like it hasn't really tackled more of like the creative block aspect of what I'm going through, to be honest. Even the morning pages, I know they're meant to help you release all of the thoughts in your mind, get them on the page so that you can create from a kind of unburdened source. But the morning pages for me, they're just helpful in processing my emotions, getting clarity on how I feel about certain things. Like they really help me with my sense of self, but not really with my ability to create freely. So that's something I'm still curious to see how the rest of the weeks, how it might impact my creative self. But I will say so far it has had an impact on my sense of self and what I feel I deserve, what makes me happy, what feels natural to me, and following that path and believing in myself. Like those kinds of things are what I have noticed a difference in. Okay, I have been talking a very long time about this. I am going to create my collage now. But before doing that, if any of you have done the artist's way, I would love to hear your thoughts on everything I just talked about. And if you can relate to that, or if you're interested in doing the artist's way, let me know if you have any questions about it. I'd be happy to discuss in the comments. I do highly recommend it, but I also feel like it's a little misleading. It's, at least what I'm getting out of it, really has not a lot to do with creativity and more to do with understanding myself, understanding my motivations, my desires, my limiting beliefs, those kinds of things. So if that's more what you're interested in, I highly recommend it. If you are looking at it purely as a way to recover your creative self, I'm not so sure yet. I will need to finish the program to really let you know my thoughts. So I'll probably do another check-in like this after week 12. I figured since I had finished up to week 6, I'm midway through the book. So I wanted to give a little recap on how it's been going for me. And let me know if you're even interested in Artist's Way content like this, because it's not really related to anything else I talk about on this channel. So I also totally understand if no one is interested in hearing about the Artist's Way. So let me know. Okay, so that is the week 7 collage task done. And just reading through it, it's, collect a stack of 10 magazines. Didn't do that, but give yourself a 20-minute time limit. Collect any images that reflect your life or interests. Think of this collage as a form of pictorial autobiography. Include your past, present, future, and your dreams. It's okay to include images you simply like. So that is what I did. I feel like it's a good representation of my life, my past, present, future, my dreams, the way I view my life, the things that interest me. And with the 20-minute time limit to find all these images, I think I did a pretty good job reflecting that. So I'm happy with that. I have a ton of other tasks left for week 7. As you can see here, there's like 10 tasks total. Some of them are quite simple, some of them take a lot of time, and every week is different. So I'm happy to be back on this again, but to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna do like the next 6 weeks consecutively. I think I'm gonna take breaks in between, and I will get out of it what I get out of it. It's okay if I don't transform as a person. I think honestly, if you are gonna do the Artist's Way, like, I would lower your expectations or limit them in some way. I think, I went into it really seeing it as a way to further introspect and reflect about myself. So I really think anyone who journals in general would enjoy doing the Artist's Way, because there are so many journaling prompts every week that you have to respond to and reflect on. And in that sense, it's actually a lot of fun, a lot of great inspiration for journal prompts for sure. Let me know if any of you are doing the Artist's Way or have done it or are thinking about doing it. And if you would be interested in me continuing to talk about it. Okay, thank you for giving me company today. I am probably going to watch some more Twilight now and then maybe journal for a bit. Hello, it is Wednesday morning and I was getting ready to write in my journal real quick before work, and then I saw that I accidentally smushed one of my little sticker rolls that I love. So now I want to like desperately transfer all of this into my sticker release paper. Oh gosh, I'm stressed. But I love these little stickers, especially to put on Happy Mail, because they're kind of like mail packaging related. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna start sticking some of these down. I think some of them are no longer sticky now. I'm just gonna remove those ones. I'll do this all the time where I put stickers in my journal tote and then I forget about it. And then once I store my journals away for the day, they just crush whatever stickers I had put in there. It's so annoying. Anyway, how are you all doing? I am not looking forward to my work day. I have at least 6 meetings that I know of that I have today. And actually most days I have anywhere from 4 to 8 meetings in the day. And my company that I work for has a culture of having the video on, which is the worst for an introverted autistic person like myself. That's my literal nightmare. I will admit sometimes I do enjoy the social interaction in meetings on the rare occasion, because I do for the most part work from home. I only go into a physical office maybe like once a month. So there are times where I do start feeling kind of isolated working at home, and you know, I'd be okay with like 2 meetings a week. Like I think I'd be fine with that, but 6 a day is excessive and very unnecessary. And oh, these are all crushed. And yeah, I just feel like we don't really get much done in the meetings. Like it just prevents me from actually working because I'm in meetings all day. So I think I've salvaged what I can in here. I am nearing the end of my sticker release book. So I've been debating getting another one to add in this traveler's notebook. And really this traveler's notebook has now just become an ephemera holder, sticker and ephemera holder. And I do have my ink log as well, but I am planning to change that very soon. So, because I have this whole like A5 sized folder full of sticker sheets, so I could easily fill up another sticker release insert if I wanted to. So I'm thinking about that. And then in this folder, I have like loose paper bits. I do have like 9 more minutes before my first meeting. So what I've been doing every morning is going into my weekly spreads now that I have a use for them. And I do a little update. I try to come in here like a couple times a day and add small updates about notable things that happen through the day, little recaps on how I'm feeling. So this is this week's spread. It's super cute because I used kind of like a fall themed sticker sheet by one of my favorite Etsy shops, Kiki Studio. Got it all from this sheet. It's so cute. And I feel like this style of sticker, I don't really use it in my daily pages. Like it doesn't really go with that vibe. But I think these kinds of cutesy stickers fit really well in my weekly spreads now. So it was fun to kind of pre-decorate a little bit. Every week I have kind of been sticking to like one main pen that I use so that it's like a consistent ink color. So this was last week. Super cute. I have little pops of color here and there, but for the most part, I used the same ink. And it's been a lot of fun to pop in here through the week and use it as a space to remember the more like mundane moments. So this week I'm using my Bennu talisman, and it's inked up with Kobe number 52, which is Shioya Vintage Sepia, I believe. It's an ink that Allison sent me a sample of. So we are on Wednesday. I'm just gonna write a quick blurb here before I start my day. Okay, that's all I'm gonna write right now because I want to leave some space for the evening. I also have to update yesterday, actually. Okay, that is good enough for now. I'm gonna sign into work now. I wanted to sit down and decorate my October calendar. I put on a cozy candle, and I'm wearing my cozy new green hoodie as well. And I'm just feeling creatively inspired right now. And I do consider decorating my monthly spreads as like creative playtime for me, even though it's pretty simple. I usually just end up adding some stickers in here and call it a day. It's a nice activity where I can just shut off my brain and just pick out things that I think look good together and evoke a certain mood. And I knew I especially wanted to decorate my October calendar because this is my favorite time of year, and there's so many cute Halloween and fall inspired deco that I could use, and I think it all just looks so cute. So excited to do that. I did want to say I don't always decorate my monthly spreads. I kind of go back and forth on them. Most of the time I end up decorating my monthlies, but you'll see there's a couple months like June and September where it's pretty bare. And that used to bother me, having like inconsistent spreads throughout my journal, but I've learned to really accept it and be okay with that, like be okay with inconsistency in my journal. Because at the end of the day, I realized it still tells a story. I mentioned this in my September flip through video, but September was a really rough month for me. If I'm being honest, it was probably the worst month of the year for me. And so I have absolutely no motivation to decorate this spread. I don't feel joy thinking about September. So I'm okay with it being left like this because I think it tells the story. All that to say, I am learning to embrace the fact that our journals are representations of our lives at the end of the day. And in our lives, we go through ups and downs constantly, ebbs and flows. And so I want my journal to reflect that. I want it to not look perfect all the time and have periods where maybe it's a little ugly to me, honestly, because again, that just helps tell a story. So all that to say, I'm very happy in October. I'm feeling great this month. So I want to decorate this spread and make it super cute. I brought out so I keep all of my like printable stickers in this super beat up envelope. It's just easy for me to keep everything in here. So this has mainly Megan Rhiannon printables in here. And then I have a couple other sticker sheets that I brought out. And then these Pion Washi stickers are also just really nice accents I found. And there's so many different like color options in these. It really helps kind of pull together a spread. Oh, and I recently got this beautiful sticker roll from Pion as well. This has always been sold out everywhere I've looked for it, but then I finally found it on Etsy, actually. So I just ended up getting it on Etsy for like a premium, I'm sure. It was very expensive, but I'm really happy to have it because these kinds of stickers are really useful for me when I'm packing orders, just to decorate my envelopes. I've been using this a lot actually in my journal spreads as well. Of course, I wanted to see if I can use any of my own stickers. I feel like this newest sheet that I put out does have more fall vibes. Hopefully I can pull something from here too. But I know I want the bulk of my decoration here to come from the Megan Rhiannon Halloween stickers because I just think she does such an amazing job at those. It's not your typical Halloween designs. I like that they're a little more interesting, and I've already used some of them, so I'm just gonna pull out whichever ones I haven't used yet. Pulled out all of the Halloween related ones. I don't think I want to use Frankenstein. Never really been a Frankenstein girly. This one's cute. Might be too large. Let's see, I definitely want to use this one. Let me move these out of the way, actually. I'm just kind of trying to compose the page, like spread these out in a way that looks visually appealing to me. The problem is the printer quality was not great when I was printing these out, so they look a little bit dull. I'm gonna save the Pion for last. This just might be too bright in comparison. Like, these stickers are so saturated that I don't think they would go with the Megan Rhiannon stickers. I do like these boots. Some of these have some nice orange tones in them that I think would just make it look more Halloween in general. So let me first stick these down and then we can add more accents. And actually, I might want to put down some washi tape first. I got a new yohaku roll that I love. I think it's so beautiful. Like, look at this. I love it. I'm not sure. I think it could go like some of these darker panels would look nice. Definitely want this one on Halloween. And then I'm using this larger one to cover something I had to cross off. What do you guys do with your monthly spreads? If you have monthly spreads in your journal, is it purely functional or do you like to add some decoration to it? I think for me, because it tends to be like a landing page that I come to every so often, I like to see some decoration on it. I think it just sets a nice tone for the month. I have some of my stickers in here. That's the one I was looking for. I feel like this crumpled paper actually goes well. I like this sticker a lot, or this one. And maybe the smaller one would work better. And then I think I do want to just add some more orange into the spread, so some of these butterflies might help. I think one is good, actually. I still want some more orange in here, so I think this sticker would work perfectly for that. And that's why I love those Pion stickers. There's just so many small accents that it has. And because these are washi stickers, they're easy to move around. Would any of these be too bright? I feel like the blanket might be fine. I think that looks really cute. I'm happy with that. And I want to still leave it somewhat open because we're only halfway through the month and I'm hoping to have more plans through the second half of October. Okay, there we have it. It's Friday morning and I just wanted to update my weekly spread real quick. And I'll check back in later in the day to add more updates. We've made it to the end of the week. I had a lot of fun documenting this week and bringing you guys along, and thank you so much for giving me company. I hope you enjoyed this video, and actually, if you've made it this far, I'd like to ask you a question. What videos would you like to see from me? Whether it's ones that I already do, like my days at my desk, or my flip-throughs, or something completely different. I would love to hear your ideas. With that, I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you've been having a wonderful October, and I will see you in the next one.